Hello everyone, this is Gorax and today I'm going to show you a wild team against the endgame boss that can do over 300 million damage. My team didn't do it quite now yet because Flora has died really early on. However, 292 million damage, we survived the whole 8 minutes and we don't use a healer. That's the gist of it all. So let's see why we don't use a healer right now, because we're going to use Jour here. Jour here will be applying ultimate energy up and dispelling all the buffs of the boss. So this will help us with removing that defense penalty, as we will not be really having that many buffs on our heroes. So this is the passive, this is this skill that will grant the boss defense up to. So this happens at 18 seconds. So in theory, we should delay our skills as often as possible and avoid that, basically. So all our damage should happen before the 18-second mark or after 18-second mark. And with how we rotate our heroes, we'll be able to avoid that. We'll go over the timings soon. They're not ideal because you can adjust them depending on what you have. Obviously, they will change quite significantly. And then we will use this set on Jour that will heal our allies for 5% of their max HP when we resist every 10 seconds. And we're going to build him with resistance and accuracy. That's the main stats of him. He will survive the whole battle. There's no killing him here, basically. And we will use Rift Hourglass just to get extra accuracy. We could even change his timings. He's timed currently, but with Hourglass, with gaining this ultimate here, when he resists every 20 seconds, this should be enough to keep him going into rotation that I put him in. If you can't do it in 16.5 second rotation, you might change this set to other set that grants you extra ultimate energy, but the problem will be your team surviving. So you could see that Flora died first, and Flora died first because she's built as a class cannon on this Akan. She's built with as much enlightenment as possible. To avoid that, you can build her with the something that heals her, but I wouldn't say it's a good idea, mainly because she died because of the burst. That's what killed her. Okay, there's no sustained damage, it's just the burst that killed her, so no self-healing will help her survive because her HP was quite low. Felicity will be with Witches Remain and the 3-year set to grant us extra elemental damage. And pretty simple, we're gonna use Caspar here as well as Eric. Obviously, on this Akan, I have high inspiration, so your damage might be a little bit lower, fluctuating there, but your equipment will also be pretty good. So make sure you utilize that. This Akan has Flora as the main team, so you can see that the equipment is not bad as well, right? We have tempers, we got everything else. So yeah, that works. Obviously, timing wise, these timings might vary. Once again, as I said, 16.5 seconds on the rotation here, because the boss rotation is 30 seconds plus 3 extra seconds if you manage to get him to the weakened state, which you should with the setup. Our damage dealers, usually they go at 18 seconds thanks to Puppeteer, but we can move it a little bit down due to haste buff that we get through the Otherworld Exploration. If you get even more haste on them through the items and stats, you can go lower than 17 seconds, and that will increase your damage because you might squeeze in 1 extra rotation. But once again, Flora can die. Now, for those of you who don't want to use Jour, there are multiple alternatives. The reason why I like Jour is because I want to use other heroes in other teams. So the obvious best alternative here would be Ogok. With Immortality, this team can survive longer. So depending if you plan to use Ogok on another team, you might use him in here instead of Jour. To achieve, however, what Jour is doing, you will need to build Ogok with the resistance, grant 20% of your resistance to your allies, build them with around 100 resistance, and utilize this talent, which will then grant him 1% ultimate energy, which will get rid of this pesky passive Power of the Dragon Rage. This will remove these stacks pretty much instantly. when they resist one of the attacks, and he's got multiple that we can resist, as we can resist the burn on the first two, and then we can resist attack penalty on the last one. So that's quite important, and that's an alternative. Now, if you don't have any of those two heroes, there are multiple other options. You can always bring a fan favorite, what's his name, Furbuff. He will apply attack penalty, grants you a lot of healing and dispel as well. Now, the issue here is he doesn't really have any ultimate manipulation, but with this team, do you really need it when you have Felicity? I don't think so. So that's why he is a good alternative as well. Even I would go into a more various supports, like bringing someone else like Vikik. Basically any kind of support, because we have Felicity to mitigate all the mechanics that the boss does. Just make sure this team survives, and then use the stronger supports with the poison team, because I'm not sure, haven't tested that yet, but I believe 2 poison teams can do really good damage here, because remember, this boss is AoE as well. You can hit 3 targets. With this wild team, you hit only 1, and obviously you can move those heroes around as well, but I like to put them into one corner to ensure they always hit the same targets. Once again, as always, if you have any improvements you would like to add to this team, let us know in the comment section down below. This will help the community, or those who have not started the end game yet, with improvements. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.